From the judges giving Haney the win because he's younger, to Lomachenko breaking down in tears after the results were announced. This is why Vasiliy Lomachenko was robbed over his loss to Devin Haney. It's like the judges already made up their minds before the first punch was thrown, all because they wanted the younger dude to win. Yep, fans are speculating that the judges wanted to set up a bunch of future fights by making 24-year-old Haney the next big thing. And guess who's standing in their way? Lomachenko, a 35-year-old seasoned fighter with an impressive track record. It's like that whole Golovkin-Canelo saga all over again, you feel me? It was clear that Golovkin was leading that fight, landing way more punches than Alvarez, but the judges had a different idea. When that final bell rang, the decision was a very controversial split draw. But many fans felt like Golovkin got straight up robbed, and the reactions were so strong that a rematch was scheduled. And in that second fight, Golovkin was landing way more punches, dominating the rounds again. But guess what? They still gave the nod to Alvarez, the younger fighter. It's obvious that they hand out wins to the young guns, even though they perform worse, just to set up more money-making matches down the line, because the younger guys are way more marketable. It's no secret that it's a pattern, and that's exactly what happened in this fight. Lomachenko was working his magic in the ring, showing off how much he deserved that win. But the judges had other plans. They gave Haney the win when it clearly should have gone to Loma. In fact, fans were so upset over this scheme, they even said that they're gonna quit watching boxing. Yep, this Haney win was the final nail in the coffin for them. In fact, some fans think that the judges had their pockets lined with cash, and no matter how Lomachenko performed, he was set up to lose this fight from the get-go, unless he magically scored a knockout. Even his manager, Aegis Klimas, smelled something fishy right from the start. He had a problem with one of the judges, Dave Moretti, even before the fight took place. Klimas said he was against Moretti's appointment as a judge, but guess what? The commission didn't care. They claimed Moretti was one of their top judges, and they went ahead and approved him. And can you guess which judge screwed Loma over big time? Yup, Moretti had the audacity to give 8 rounds to Haney, while Cheatham and Sutherland gave him 7 each. What a joke. Fans were drawing the line at 7 rounds, and this guy stretched it out to 8. The whole win was a shady deal. Not only that, but Moretti also had the nerve to credit Haney with winning the 10th round, which everyone saw Lomachenko dominate. Even Cheatham and Sutherland gave the win to Loma for that round. The round started off a bit slower than before, and then out of nowhere, Loma unleashed a powerful blow that rocked Haney. They were up close, and Loma landed each punch with insane accuracy. Haney was caught off guard and went out of position, and when he finally managed to land a short body shot, Loma didn't even seem bothered by it. He just responded by charging straight forward, working his magic on the inside once again. This time, though, Haney seemed very hesitant to fight at such a short range, while Loma was perfectly fine with it. And you can't blame him. Loma was like an angry man in that ring, and he stayed right in front of Haney's face, delivering those lightning-fast combinations. He even stepped up his game and tapped Haney's jaw with a powerful right hand on the inside. A clean shot that landed right on the money, and unfortunately for Haney, it was just the beginning of the onslaught, as Loma continued to deliver those punches, and each one found its mark on Haney with extreme precision. But what really caught Haney off guard was that ultra-sharp uppercut, and even then, Loma wasn't done with the punishment. He continued to land a short right hand on the inside, painfully connecting with Haney's chin. And just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Loma followed it up with a double left jab, and it hit Haney hard. It was the clearest round of the entire fight, no doubt about it, but somehow, Moretti still gave the round to Haney. Fans were shocked, and they're thinking that maybe Moretti is just really bad at his job. He clearly doesn't know what he's doing, because even in the month before Loma versus Haney, he scored the second round of the Davis-Garcia fight 10-10, even though Davis landed a clean, powerful shot that sent Ryan Garcia crashing to the canvas. That's what we call a knockdown, and I don't think Moretti knows how much it affects the scoring, because he decided to completely disregard the knockdown like it never happened and scored the round as a 10-10 tie. Fans can't even begin to comprehend the logic behind that decision. It's like he's living in a parallel universe where basic boxing rules don't apply. This kind of obvious favoritism or downright cluelessness isn't flying with fans. How can they trust the outcome of a fight when a judge doesn't even recognize a knockdown? It's clearly a pattern of being a bad judge, because during Loma versus Haney, Moretti had the audacity to hand in a scorecard of 116-112, where everyone watching felt that even at its worst, The match was 115-113. I don't know what fight he was watching, but it sure as heck wasn't the same one as us. His decision was so bad that Loma's manager said he was going to appeal it. He called it the biggest robbery in the daylight, and fans are on his side. He said those judges have no clue about the blood, sweat, and tears these boxers put into their games. And he's not giving up on the decision without a fight. He said he wants to show the world that there has to be justice, but let's be real here. It's a long shot, and Klimas knows it. He admitted that he's probably going to fail at getting the decision overturned. But hey, he's got to try, right? Even if the decision stands, Haney's victory's always going to have that stain of doubt, especially because he didn't even perform that good. Loma was landing punches left and right, while Haney barely managed to connect with anything significant. And in the later rounds, Haney started to slow down majorly. You could see it in his movements that his timing was all off. Loma was smart and took advantage of this and unleashed a devastating short right, and it hit Haney so hard it sent him stumbling backward. Haney tried to spin with Loma, but it was clear that he was out of his element. His defense was full of misses, and he was getting bullied by Loma. Loma was in complete control of Haney in the second last round, throwing big combinations, and boy, they were hitting. Haney couldn't find an answer, and his technique went straight out the window. Lomachenko even backed off a bit in the final minute of the round, but Haney did absolutely nothing to take advantage of that. It doesn't take a genius to figure out who was the better fighter. In the last round, Haney needed to step up his game and managed to start the round by working the body. But Loma quickly countered every hit with his speedy combos. He pushed Haney into the corner and started working upstairs, targeting Haney's head. Although Haney landed a right-hand counter, it was overshadowed by Lomachenko's multiple shot combinations. Loma was countering the counters, and you could tell he was thinking every move through. This round was closer, but it was still undeniably a round that Loma won. Even Haney's possibly next opponent, Shakur Stevenson, joined in the conversation and said that there's no doubt that Loma got robbed. He deserved that belt because he landed cleaner punches, cleaner shots, and he pushed the pace of the match. Which is true because the match started off slowly, but Loma clearly closed the gap as soon as possible. Loma looked so defeated after the results, he couldn't hold back his tears after they were announced. There's a clip of him making his way back to the dressing room, and it showed Loma all broken and sobbing uncontrollably. It was painful to watch, and his team had to cover his face with a towel just so those cameras wouldn't catch him being so vulnerable. And when reporters asked him for his thoughts right after the fight, Loma didn't even want to talk about it. He knows that everybody saw what went down that day, but he just can't deal with it right now because it's too uncomfortable for him. The tears were flowing like a river, and it made fans emotional. Loads of comments came rushing in on the video of him crying, saying that no matter what the scorecard said, everyone knows who really deserved the win. Loma even revealed that during the fight, he kept thinking about his son because his little boy had called him 7 times that day, and that hit him hard. So from Loma not being able to hide his tears after the results were announced, to the judges giving Haney the win because he's younger, this was why Vasiliy Lomachenko was robbed over his loss to Devin Haney.